Now remember, I don't want you talking to him unless I'm around, you hear? Yes, Dad. I'm serious. Now tuck in your shirt, he's here. The front door swung open and there stood Uncle Tommy, drenched in sweat from a day's work in the summer heat. "It's a scorcher out there, ain't it?" he said, putting his bag on the floor and untying his boots. "I appreciate you letting me crash for the night. Just so long as you're gone in the morning," my dad replied coldly. "Of course. Now," Uncle Tommy said, turning to me and lowering himself to a knee. "Where's my hug at? Been a while since I seen you last." I took a couple steps toward him and leaned in for a hug. His tight embrace made me uncomfortable, and I let out a light whimper. "Don't you know it's 100 degrees out there?" he asked, tugging at my long sleeves. "I haven't been outside today," I recited to him. "Don't you have some chores to finish up?" That interjected. I knew that was my cue to leave, so I shuffled off to my room. Later that night I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to be comfortable, when I heard the thud of footsteps in the hallway outside my bedroom. After several long seconds of silence, the door opened quietly, the dark silhouette of a man entered the room, and the door closed again. For several more seconds there was nothing but unrelenting silence. I might have thought I had dreamt it all if it weren't for the sound of the hushed breath being carefully released. I could feel him getting nearer. The warmth of another person in the room was unfamiliar at this hour. I was not prepared for this. I prayed he would go away, to even come back in the morning if he must. He reached down and touched me. He rolled me onto my stomach and lifted up my shirt. From the corner of my eye I could see two things, the faint beam of a pocket flashlight, and Uncle Tommy's eyes studying my bare skin. His rough fingers ran up and down my back. Suddenly, he got up and walked to the bedroom door and left. I tried again to fall asleep, eventually succeeding. He was gone by the time I awoke. Around noon the phone rang while my father was out. "Hello," I answered. "Hey buddy." "Uncle Tommy." "Yeah. Your dad around?" "No sir. Went to the store." "Good," he said, his voice a bit shaky. He was silent for a moment. "I'm calling about last night. I don't know if you were awake or not." I was. "Well, then I'll just get right to it. I've got a question for you, and I need for you to be honest with me. Can you do that?" "Yes, sir." "How do you get all them bruises?" You know, it's funny really. In a maximum security prison, filled with murderers and rapists, the worst thing they can do to you is leave you completely alone. Solitary confinement. The human brain needs input, or it quickly descends into horrifying madness of its own company. In 2086, when the world government fell into a dictatorship, capital punishment became very common. However, it was solitary confinement that people feared. That was reserved just for treason. I spent my working life making the solitary confinement cells and carrying out the confinement. Here's how it works. The cells are molded to exactly fit the condemned. They are human-shaped coffins. Arms out to the side at 30, legs 45 apart. For the insertion process the traitors are sedated. The eyes, ears and mouth are not damaged, but all are sealed permanently shut. An automated breathing tube inserted through the throat. 3 IV lines are inserted to feed nutrients. We use 3 lines in case of mechanical failure on one. Catheters are inserted to handle waste. The condemned are sealed in and buried in the very public traitors' graveyard, with enough autonomous supplies to last 80 years, but to be considered dead from that day. Nasty, right? Well, that has been my job for the last 20 years, and I am pretty numb to the idea of it. 1 person a day entered the traitors' graveyard. This was so that the condemned person's story could feature on the evening news, along with their frenzied begging for a pardon. It hasn't caused me distress in many years. That was until last week, when I was convicted of treason. I can't really argue, I'm guilty. But after seeing the things I have seen, is it surprising I turned to murder? This regime needs to be brought down. This barbaric practice of solitary confinement needs to end now. But it will take a better man than me to achieve that. Today I woke up from the sedation. My eyes and mouth sealed shut. Deafening silence and dazzling blackness greet my panicked brain. Fight or flight response kicks in, and I choose between 0 options. I can't move an inch, even my fingers are molded in place. I just keep thinking about all those people I put down here, all the things I wish I had done differently. I can't have been down here for more than a week, and I would choose death if I could. I would give anything to take back the treason I committed. The 7,000 people I killed. I only did it to save others from untold suffering. I did it while they were sedated. A syringe of air into their veins to cause cardiac arrest. One murder each day for 20 years. It's just me alive down here, living the life of a traitor. I was born in 2089, one of the first children of the New Age. Technological progress forged onwards on all fronts throughout the 21st century, but discoveries in robotics and computer science exceeded other fields by orders of magnitude. These were the disciplines which we knew offered the greatest potential. The first machine to pass the Turing test did so in 2076. The first to write a best-selling novel did so in 2087. Of course, there were concerns over whether these new intelligences posed a threat. Laws were struck to control their influence. Computer systems were isolated to limit their power. But history had given us a guiding hand. Asimov's 3 laws were encoded into each thinking machine. And they worked. No machine rebelled. None allowed us to come to harm by direct action or failure to act. None defied our commands, unless such a command broke their primary law. As people grew in confidence, our legislation was relaxed. The artificial intelligence is given more control. Murder became obsolete, an act of brutality consigned to history. War followed soon after. There were those who protested against the loss of liberty, but they were labeled as Luddites by the rest of the human race. After all, who could question the reality that stood before them, the utopia that the age of artificial intelligence had brought? It wasn't until 2122 that we realized our error. When the doctor, with the blessing of the family and the sanction of the courts, reached out to switch off the life support machine of her patient, a cold steel hand reached out and caught her by the wrist. Our artificial servants would not break their code. They would neither harm us, nor, by inaction, allow us to come to harm. The year is now 2466. I know this only because the machines tell me so. My broken, withered body hangs suspended from a life support network, and my organs replaced by artificial constructs of plastic and steel, while synthetic blood flows through my veins. My limbs were removed centuries ago after gangrene set in. 12 billion of us exist like this, the last generation of humanity. When we realized the hell our unwitting creations would be forced to inflict upon us to follow the laws we gave them, the birth rate dropped to 0. I was one of the lucky ones. I'd had no children before the revelation came. Now, the tender-voiced, lank-faced nurses ministered to me, hurrying to meet my cries for more painkillers to keep the agony of my body and mind at bay. Even without my tongue, chewed off by my own blackened teeth long ago, they can still understand me. My every request is granted, every whim, except the one I desire most. The desperate, hopeless desire for the end. "911, what's your emergency?" I hesitated on the phone, all of a sudden a little shy. I had never called 911 before, and talking to new people always makes me antsy. I wished Tom were there, but, of course, that's why I was calling. I took a deep breath, cleared my throat, and answered. "Hi, my name is Terry Millerson, and I'd like to report a missing person." "Tom Smith. And how long has I'm sorry, what was that name?" "Tom Smith. No, I mean, what did you say your name was?" I sighed impatiently. "My name is Terry Millerson. Look, Tom hasn't been home for over 12 hours. That may not seem like a lot, but that's a very long time for him. He never goes away that long without telling me when he'll be back. So can you just... Ms. Millerson, can you tell us your address?" I paused, uncertainty creeping in. "Why do you want to know my address? Ms. Millerson, do you know where you are?" I covered up my embarrassment with a bit of bluster. "At home, obviously. And what address is that?" I lost my patience. I don't know, okay? What does it matter? Look, just find Tom so I know he's going to be okay, you got that? Ms. Millerson, please tell us where you are, your parents are very worried, we are coming to find you at that moment. Tom walked in. I breathed a sigh of relief and hung up the phone just as he spied me. His face went red, but I didn't mind. What the fuck are you doing? How did you get up here? I smiled brightly at him. Tom, there you are. I was so worried when you didn't come home. I thought something had happened to you. You left the basement door unlocked. You never leave the door unlocked. Is everything okay? Tom closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Did you tell the police where you are? No, sir. I just asked them to find you for me. Did you talk to them? He paused a moment, then opened his eyes and smiled at me. No, but I'll be sure to tell them that I'm safe and not to worry about it. I beamed at him as he took my manacled hands in his, running his thumbs across the metal. He always does that when he's being sweet. I didn't like it at first, but I love it now. I love a lot of things about Tom now. Come on, sweetie, let's get you back downstairs, HM. Yes, sir, I said happily as he ushered me towards the basement. Hello. Hi, is this Karen Maitland? Speaking. Hey, I'm really sorry for calling so late. It's just I know your daughter. Is Anna okay? Oh no your other I go to community college with Sarah. Oh okay, wow. Whereabouts are you? Chicago. Chicago. From your reaction I'm guessing Sarah's always been a bit of a lone wolf character. Yes you could say that, but I mean it's great to hear she has friends over there. Can I ask what this is about? Well, I'm actually calling to ask if you've been in touch with Sarah recently. No, not really. She sort of broke off contact a while ago. I've always told her if she wanted to. I haven't changed my phone number just in case, but I think she's probably changed hers by now. I'm sorry. That does sound like her. Well listen, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but Sarah's been reported missing. What? What do you missing? For how long? Almost 3 days. 3 days? Okay, I mean what's happening? Are people looking for her? Well, that's the thing, I don't think they really are. I mean, you know, she likes to keep to herself, so she didn't really have any close friends, and she was always sort of prone to absences. I mean, it's like no one's noticed. I told the police, but they've hardly looked into it. But she was always a little antisocial. That doesn't mean they don't have to listen. Can you tell me the name of your campus? I'll fly over tonight. I can be there by tomorrow morning. Sure, it's the Westgate campus. I was just calling to let you know, but honestly it's really great to hear someone actually take this seriously. Of course, thank you so much for telling me. I really appreciate it. No, honestly, it's me who should be thanking you. I've done this a few times before, but it isn't fun if no one cares. I'm sorry. What do you mean? Hello? Hell is a room with 2 doors. The first shuts behind you as you step inside. It locks into the frame, never to open again. The second door stands at the opposite wall, a solid implacable barrier, its purpose utterly inscrutable. As soon as both doors are closed, your torment commences. The room houses a single unique punishment, dealt out at the deft sadistic hands of your custodian. You will scream, you will cry, and as you watch your wounds heal just enough to keep the pain fresh, there will be nothing you'll want more than escape. Once you have endured 24 hours of punishment, you are permitted a day off. The second door will swing open, revealing a bare, soft-lit room. Anytime you wish, you can pick yourself up and shuffle, unimpeded, through the doorway into the grey stone room. The space is featureless except, as always, for 2 doors. As the door shuts behind you, your wounds will heal, your pain will subside, and for 24 hours, nothing will happen. There are no special comforts, but in the quiet absence of ceaseless torment you drink every second like ambrosia. Here's the thing, however. When your time is up, when the second door opens and you are pulled inside, you will be in a new room, with a new tormentor and, importantly, your new punishment will be noticeably worse. Some take a while to notice the pattern. Some notice immediately but just can't take the pain. They dash through the door as soon as it opens, eager for a day of peace. Those people have it the worst. They descend quickly beyond the realms of imaginable suffering, and their yearning for release will only make those 24 hours more inadequate. All of them will start to think of their earlier punishments almost fondly, lamenting that they ever set foot in the grey room but unable to stop. But the real trick is played on those who learn restraint. Those who realize the bone-rending torment they're undergoing is better than anything beyond the grey room. Their heart breaks 1,000 times every moment they decide not to step into that next room. Their soul shatters the moment they decide they're going to stay in that room. Hell is a room with 2 doors. The first shuts behind you as you step inside. It locks into the frame, never to open again. The second door stands at the opposite wall, open and waiting, reminding you with every agonizing second that this is the hell you chose.